What's up, y'all? I'm HEROLD, MD, an audio engineer from Maryland, and I'm rocking with UnpluggedDMV.
Welcome to another episode of UnpluggedDMV. I am Danae, and today we have our first ever engineer, Luke, in the building. What's up, Luke?
What's up? How are you?
I'm good. We are so happy to have you here today.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes. So let's get started because I'm super excited. So you're from Maryland,
Yep,
right?
from Maryland. Yep, born and raised.
Born and raised, and tell us about your journey and how you got started engineering.
For engineering? Yeah, so it was like high school when I started playing drums just with my friends. Had no idea what engineering or anything of that sort was. I was just kind of playing drums, had some musical friends. My buddy Trey in high school, he rapped, and I wanted to figure out just like how to record him because I was just rocking with him, you know what I mean, like my best friend. So I was like, all right. I downloaded a program like I think it's called Audacity. I had like no idea like what any of the stuff was. I was just kind of like looking at it. It looked like just foreign language. I was like, I don't know what any of this stuff was, and I was like, all right. So I kind of just like started using that program to record him. Like, still had no idea how any of the stuff worked, and then I kind of moved on to a program called Cubase. Was using that for a little bit and kind of started to learn like plugins and stuff like that, to how to like mix voices and all you know, stuff like that. And from there, I had went to Logic Pro and just started teaching myself stuff. I didn't really have anyone like
to basically like a mentor teaching you.
Exactly. Yeah,
right.
I wasn't ever sitting with anybody. It was kind of just like always training my ear. I knew it sounded good. I knew what sounded good, like on the radio and stuff like that, like how I would want mixes to be. But I never knew, you know, how to like get there. And then I learned of just step by step, learned all these things and kind of just have taught myself over the years.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say, self-taught. We love that.
Yeah.
So can you explain to us what engineering entails? Like, when someone hires you as an engineer, what are they hiring you for exactly?
Yeah, so there are kind of different areas of engineering. So you could be like a live sound engineer, you could be a studio engineer, you could be a mastering engineer, or a solely a mixing engineer. So yeah, there's a bunch of different.
Okay, so the live one, I'm gonna just take a guess. That's like live performances, and you want to make sure all of the sound is correct. So that has nothing to do with like DJing.
No, exactly. You're just running sound for like a live venue or like a concert or like a sorry, I'm blanking right now.
Yeah, like a concert.
Exactly. Yeah, like any kind of live event.
Right.
And it's pretty stressful. I've never done it myself. I've always just done like the studio and the mixing and stuff like that. But there are engineers that are just straight mixing engineers, where they'll just get sent files and they'll literally just mix it.
So send files as far as like just music? Or?
Yeah. So the artist will record in the studio and get all the files together, and then they'll take that. They'll work with a recording engineer who's just in the studio recording, and then they'll take the files, send it to a mixing engineer, and the mixing engineer will just kind of mix everything, and then they can send that off to mastering if the engineer doesn't do mastering himself.
Okay.
So it's like a bunch of different hats, but I kind of wear like the recording, mixing, and mastering.
Right, that's how like, so which one I'm sending to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to mix and master.
Exactly.
So tell me how you put your spin on things with mixing and mastering.
It's basically just kind of trying to use like broad terms. Basically, it's taking like the instruments with the beat or anything like that, and then either recording vocals, or if the vocals are already recorded, just making it sound professional and radio ready. So I guess I'll start to like say some terms with mixing, basically like adding compression and equalization to vocals or like the beat, anything like that. And yeah, basically just making it blend together, make sure it doesn't sound like, because basically like all the music you hear now, if it didn't have any of that stuff, like those engineers working on it, like it would sound like all
completely
garbage.
different.
Yeah, it would sound really bad. So
yeah. Have you had like any artists like bring you music that you had to like completely like revamp, basically, like that sound completely bad?
Yeah. That's a pretty common thing. I've had like artists go out to LA and literally like be like, hey, can you check the session in your email, because it's literally just like so bad. I'm like, yeah, no, I got it. But yeah, so it really takes like a certain ear to be able to confidently mix and make a record sound good to everybody. It takes like a lot of ear training and like years and years of like repetitively doing it.
Right.
Like I didn't become like, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good, but I didn't become like this.
You be cocky with it. You good? Let them know.
But I didn't like just become like my ear level training like overnight. It took years and years and like actually bad sessions. Like I've, you know, messed up a lot of times and all that kind of stuff until I finally got it right. But
I mean, practice makes perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, gotta perfect your craft.
Yeah.
So, what is your turnaround time like for when artists send you, music or?
Yeah, for like mixing and mastering, it depends like how like the extent of the song or like of a project or anything. But like just for a song, usually 2 to 3 days. I like to take my
Really?
time. Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is, like whether their skill level. I always believe in like really taking my time and putting like my all into every mix, because I feel like your last mix is always a representation of your skill level. So it doesn't matter who it is. Like your last mix is kind of just like it's like a representation of you, like as you keep going on.
Yeah.
So I always try to put my all into everything.
Yeah, as you should. I love that. Any like I see you shout out like and give credits to like a lot of like celebrity artists. So any artists that you've worked with that you want to shout out and
So I've worked with Light Show from DC. I worked with him like a few years back, and you know, occasionally, and shout out him, Light Show, super dope. He's like a DC legend. Worked with some other artists, Shy Glizzy, 21 Savage. Nothing too like personal though. No, like wasn't like big relationships, but kind of like in the studio with them.
You can tie your name to one.
Yeah, it's cool. But and then I guess just local artists around, like people I really rock with and I'm really close with. Jay Mentari. Trying to think, there's so many people, but Gus Edwards from the Ravens, Gusto. I've been working with him. His artist name is Gusto, so shout out Gus. He's dope. Who else? Yeah. That's all I can think
You got
of.
a pretty
I'm
full list
blanking,
right
yeah.
there. I mean, you named a lot. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
And for you to be self-taught and to have, you know, been able to be in contact or touch certain projects and, you know, so I think that's really, you know, really, really dope.
Yeah.
Anywhere you see yourself, like, you particularly want to be, you know, in the next couple years with your engineering?
Yeah, so I literally want to, it's pretty much how I have envisioned in my head. I want to continue to grow here, because in my past I've always like worked for somebody, and I've worked now to just work for myself, have my own studio, and it's gonna sound selfish, but like not like split anything with anybody, like have it all for me and kind of like build those relationships myself, and just kind of like really put my all into like building my own thing. But I really want to, I love Maryland, but I really want to end up in Atlanta for mixing. I feel like I feel like my sound will do really good there. So
yeah, I think it will too. I think you'll flourish anywhere.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So tell us about, I see that you have a template that you have online.
Yep.
And it's called the Alchemy template.
The Alchemy template. Yep.
Yep. So tell us about that. What made you create it? You know, and how it works, basically.
Yeah. So basically trying to like give back to the community in general, for like either engineers or artists that want to record themselves, or like engineers that kind of need help, like that need a person or a thing to kind of like get them on track of learning that I didn't really have. So like I want to make sure I kind of help others in that way. The Alchemy template, it's named the name is inspired from the book The Alchemist. And basically like the meaning of alchemy in general is making like gold out of like just materials of like just kind of like normal materials. So it like symbolizes into like basically just, I believe in like using what you have always. Like doesn't really matter what equipment you have for like the engineering and mixing, just kind of like using your ears and what you have to make something like really good. So yeah, it came from that. It's basically a template right now it's only available for Pro Tools because that's just what I kind of use, and that's like the industry standard. I do plan
I was
to.
about to say, what are Pro Tools?
Oh,
like
yeah,
the highest technology, or
It's a Pro Tools is it's a program that you use to do like the mixing and the mastering and all that. It has all the files in it, and you kind of just it's got a bunch of stuff that integrates in it, and then you get the music from there. So, yeah, so I have it right now out for Pro Tools, and then there are other programs that I'm gonna have it for because not everybody uses Pro Tools. Some people use like Logic, Ableton, stuff like that. So I'm gonna be working to integrate it onto all like platforms. But it's basically a template to where you can open it up, and my goal is to make it to where you open it up, you start your session, you can literally hit the record button, and an artist can put their beat in or whatever they want to use, or their files, and they like record themselves, and it'll sound good. So
oh, really?
it'll
That's
have
so
all of
dope.
my it'll have like all of my the like presets and stuff like that, so they kind of makes it sound like industry ready, just kind of from the jump.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question, right?
Yep.
So, out of all of the projects that you've mixed and mastered, I just like saying that you engineered.
Yeah.
What give us your favorite project and your least favorite? Your least favorite.
Least favorite.
Favorite.
I don't know if I can give you a least favorite because I love
good.
everybody I
Okay,
work
you
with.
good. You good.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
He
But
said he loved them all, y'all.
yeah, one of my favorites. Okay. Yeah, one of my I'm gonna give you two favorites.
Okay.
First one is Light Show East of the River. That came out in like 2019 or 18, I believe. Spent a lot of time with that, back and forth with Light Show, just on email, and just really put a lot into that. And I feel like that project right there kind of was the turning point of making me like a more official engineer, and kind of like growing into my sound. Like working with him basically like just made me, I feel like, become like a great engineer. So
Right.
shout out to him for that, because yeah, definitely became a better engineer from working with him.
Yeah.
And then to my boy Jay Mentari, he has a project called As Above, So Below, and it's basically like a concept album to where he's like in his mind and kind of like trying to escape his mind, but it's all about just like letting go and just accepting. I'm blanking right now, but it's basically just about like letting go. And I spent a lot of time with him on that. It was like over a year. We were kind of going back and forth.
Really?
Yeah, between like recording stuff, mixing stuff. I spent so much time, and like all the way down to like like how loud the snare is, or like what we used on the snare, or like the 808, the kick drum, like all of that stuff. So like
Oh,
yeah,
my
we put like a lot of.
I know you're a perfectionist with that. 'Cause, I mean, when you when you have a craft,
Yeah.
you don't pay attention to other things. So
Yeah.
I would never listen to a song and can say what the. I mean, I think the drum roll, all of them sound.
Yeah, yeah.
I just would never know all the instruments and
Yeah.
what to.
It's definitely wild, like when you become an engineer, like when you kind of dive into that, like your life changes with music because you don't listen to
Right,
it the
you
same.
can't successfully
I
just
used
vibe
to like
music.
yeah, like before I started getting into it, like early high school, I would listen, like listening to Wiz Khalifa, like Cushion Orange Juice, stuff like that. I would literally like not have any idea like
Right.
any of it, but then once I started learning more of the stuff, like your whole perception of like music changes. You hear things that you didn't hear before. It's crazy. Yeah, it's like a whole rabbit hole.
I think that's how I am watching interviews.
Yeah.
I can never just enjoy the
Yeah,
show. I'm
you're like analyzing it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us any projects that you have coming up that you're working on. Any artists, any mainstream.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of still doing like local, like local artists, like just kind of building those relationships and really working with these people. My boy Jay Mentari, like I mentioned a few times, he's got a project that we're starting to get the ball rolling on, as well as Gus Edwards, the artist. We have everything recorded and pretty much finalized, so he's going to be dropping soon. I'm just not too sure when, but
Right.
that's definitely
And so if everyone wants to go hear some of the music that you engineered,
Yeah.
you have them all on like YouTube, right?
Yeah, so I basically post on my IG like different projects and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't like post everything that I kind of work on, because I'm not trying to like toot my horn out like that, but it
You
would be
should
like a
toot
lot.
it. Okay, Luke, toot your horn.
Yeah, it would be
Luke.
like it would be a lot like to post. Also, another artist I want to shout out is Young Jew. So YVNGJUU. He's really dope. And he just released a project that's like one of my latest posts on Instagram. If you go to that, Luke Harold MD on Instagram, and then yeah, I have stuff on there, so check it out.
Yeah, Luke Harold MD on IG.
Yes.
Okay. So right now, everyone, we are going to do a quick little snippet of one of the songs that Luke has engineered. Right?
Yeah, yep.
When did this song come out?
I think it was like 2018 or so.
2018.
Yeah, yep.
And the name of it is Park at 14.
Yeah, it's named off of the
DC?
club, DC club.
Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
I thought I'm
Yeah.
like I've been there a couple times.
So yeah, I don't know if like it showed a music video in it, but yeah, it's filmed. The video is filmed in the club, and it was one of the first songs I did for Light Show, and I to this day I love my mix on it, so kind of wanted to showcase that.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna take a second and we're gonna listen to a snippet of it, and then we're gonna have Luke explain to us, how he mixed and mastered everything. Okay, everybody, listen now.
What's up, sis? I don't know. Probably studio.
Hey, look, hey, I'm getting money, I'm busy. Hey, I be back about to run through a city. Know how I'm living, pull up with his lady. Pocket 14 section, that's the ditty. Say your nigga Brian, nigga Izzy. Hey, your street slime with the glizzy. I got the cheese on me like a Philly. I put this cheese on you, you a feel me. Run up that paper, go and get the belly. Bet put the leash on her if she friendly. We a petite on you niggas plenty. This ain't the G's, man, don't call me really no more. Phone ring when you winning. Had to do my own thing in the beginning. And I know it's only the beginning. But I'm thinking I don't need a couple businesses now. Click on me for my benefit. In case I gotta shoot me a witness down. Most is money for them rainy days to make any sit downs. Quick sit downs. It was fucked up, it's lit now. Ask the plug how we quick flip pounds. Ain't mine if the bitch get round. Bitch, sit down, please. And it's a couple niggas I ain't fucking with. I had to get from around me. And you know, Lil Ice is so fucking torch. Had to give her round 3. We all be speaking, but I speak the facts though. I'm in this water, but I hit the backstroke in it. Open my safe and them racks go in it. I got these bars, I ain't got no gimmicks. Master P told me it's not no limits. Made lemonade when I got them lemons. Nothing without and got back forgiven. Niggas wrote when they make back decisions. You niggas better go get you some money instead of keep trying to pack my mentions. I got good aim, I've been practicing. And the catch on you niggas, I'm actually itching.
And that was one of the artists from DC?
Yeah, Light Show. Yeah.
Okay, Light
Yeah.
Show. That was
Shout out to
Light Show.
Yeah.
Okay, that was nice. Okay, so
Yeah.
tell us about, I heard a nice beat.
Yeah.
So tell us what you mixed and mastered on.
Yeah. So he sent the session over virtually and through email, and I just downloaded it, started working on it, and I guess if you want me to go into like details about
Yeah, I
the
want
whole
you to
mixing.
give me details.
All right, cool. Yeah. So basically, I believe in like one of my big focuses for mixing is like vocals, like getting the vocals to sound like in your face, but also like sitting like kind of under the beat. So using things like heavy compression, but not too heavy to where it's like buried. Using saturation to kind of give it like an analog sound, a warm feeling, and then like kind of using some equalization, like boosting a little bit of high end, taking out some like frequencies that are kind of like troubled that like kind of clash with the beat. So basically just kind of make it sound crisp and full and warm, but like not getting buried by the beat and not too much above the beat.
Yeah,
So
because
kinda
it was
just,
like really smooth. And
that's
like
that's my goal with the mixes. So
Okay.
yeah.
We
It's
love
pretty much
that.
like
Okay, I can't wait to.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear more projects
Yeah.
from you because I
Thank
think you're an amazing engineer.
I appreciate that. Thank
And
you.
I love how you broke everything down to us because, again, I didn't know before I sat down with you what the difference was. But we definitely appreciate you
Absolutely.
for coming and giving us some insight on what it is to be an engineer, okay?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on because being the first engineer, that's dope. Like a lot of people don't really shed a lot of light on engineering, but I appreciate you guys, bringing an engineer on here and sitting down.
Yeah.
Usually the engineers are kind of like in like low key in the back, like kind of like just working the strings and the magic, but to have some light on engineers is dope. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Not anymore. We welcome all the engineers.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
again, if you can go, tell them your page again where they can follow you.
Yeah, at Luke Harold MD, LukeHerold MD as in Maryland.
And if you click the link in his bio, his template is in there, okay?
Yes,
If you're trying to learn a few things to become an engineer, it'll help,
Yeah,
okay?
it's all in there.
Yeah. So, Luke, we thank you again for coming, and we look forward to all of your future endeavors and everything, okay?
Thank you for having me.
This concludes another episode of Unplugged DMV. We look forward to seeing you soon.